Hello and welcome to this section of the series. In this video, I'm going to show you how to insert multiple records into a table at once in PostgreSQL. To get started, first let us look at the syntax. Here is the syntax we are going to be using, and so let's break it down. It starts with the insert into clause followed by the name of the table where we are inserting the data into. So it says insert into the table name, which can be an employee table. Then after that, we specify the list of columns we want to insert data into. For example, we have column 1, column 2, column 3. So this represents the various columns which we want to insert into, which can be the ID, name, age, and any other column. You should note that the order of the column here matters, and it should match the order of the values which you're going to provide, just like we did when we're inserting a single record in the table. After specifying the columns, then we now have the values keyword. This is where we supply the actual data. Below that, we have multiple sets of values, each in its own set of parentheses. So each set of parentheses, one row of represents one row of data that will be inserted into the table. So here we have value 1, value 2, value 3. This represents one row of data which is going to be inserted into the table. Let's see an example so we can understand it better. Here we have this employee table, and we are going to be inserting these 3 records into our table. So you see here that we have the ID, name, age, and position for each employee, and we are going to be inserting each employee's data into the table. But now we are not going to do it one at a time. We are going to insert these 3 records at once. So let me show you the syntax. Now, if you take a closer look, you're going to see how the syntax is actually being used. We have the keyword insert into the table name, which is employee. Then the column 1 here is the ID. Then the column 2 is the name. Column 3 is the age. And then we have another column which is the position. Then thereafter, we have the values keyword, which helps us to specify the list of values which we want in a set of parentheses. So each set of parentheses here represents a complete record. So for the first record, we have the ID of 5, name Alice, age 25, and the position engineer. And then we have the second record as well as the third record. So using this, we will be able to insert these 3 records at once in our table. So let's see it in practice. Here we have our PostgreSQL server up and running in the terminal. And so to check the data which is currently present in the employee table, we are going to say select star from employee. And now you're going to see that we have just 2 records on the employee table. Now that we have confirmed that we only have 2 records, we can now insert these 3 records into our table. So to insert the 3 records, we are going to say insert into, we want to insert into the employee table. Insert into the employee table. Now we have to specify the columns. We want to insert data into the ID column, name, age, as well as position. After specifying the columns, we hit enter to move to the next line, and then here we can now specify the values keyword. So we use the values keyword to specify the values which we want. And now the values are going to come in a set of parentheses. So we hit enter to put in the first value. So the first value has the ID of 5, the name is Alice, the age 25, the position engineer. So this is the first record, and now after the first record you have to put a comma before you hit enter to enter the second record. Now for the second record you use the ID 6, the name Margarita, the age 30, and the position engineer. So this is the second record, and as we did with the first, you have to separate it with a comma, and then you now enter the third record, and the third record has an ID of 7, the name is Charlie, the age is 28, and then we have the position as manager. So after putting that, we have now provided the 3 records which we want to insert into the table. Immediately after the last record, we now close the command with a semicolon. So don't forget, always close your command with a semicolon. So once you close the command with a semicolon, you see that our command is now ready. So we have insert into the employee table the columns which we want to insert into the ID column, name, age, and position. Then we specify the values, each as a comma separated value in a set of parentheses. So we have the first record, second record, and the third record. So now if we hit enter, then you see the output here. We have insert 03, which means we have successfully inserted 3 records into our table. So now let's check the list of records which we have in our table currently. So we use the select command, select star from employee, and then you hit enter. So now you're going to see that we now have 5 records in our table. First, before starting, we had just 2 records, and now after inserting 3 values at once, we now have 5 records in the table. So that is it. That is how to insert multiple records into a table in PostgreSQL. If you are still confused, there is a link to an article below which shows the same steps and explains everything over. If you're more comfortable with reading articles, you can read from the article below. And if you're more comfortable with videos, you can rewatch the video to try and understand it again. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.